Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hey, bear with me. I'm going to do a little math today, but somebody asked, does it pay, why would I put a mortgage on a property? Why wouldn't I just buy cash? After all, if I buy cash, especially if you're talking like a small property where you can, I don't know, let's say we could buy a property for $100,000 or $200,000. You've got the cash sitting there. Why wouldn't you just pay cash versus getting a mortgage? You know, you got to get a mortgage. It's risk. Like, I put 25% down, but man, what happens if the economy crashes or whatever? If I just pay cash, I'm good, right? Well, here's the thing. We'll take a $100,000 property, right? We're going to say we've got a $100,000 property. If you buy it cash, let's just say that cash flows $1,200 a month. I know you probably can't do that right now, but whatever. Let's just say it cash flows $1,200 a month. I'm going to say I'm going to put a 25% down payment on that property instead. So that's only $25,000 that I got to come to the table, not taking in all the closing fees and whatever. Just simple. 25% down payment, $25,000. So if I had $100,000 I could do in cash, that means I've got some money I can do. I can buy 4 properties now for $25,000. So instead of buying 1, I buy 4, right? Well, my cash flow suffers a little bit, right? Because earlier I was making $1,200 a month. Well, now $75,000 mortgage, $350 per month payment. So now my cash flow is only $850 a month per property. But I was able to buy 4. So I'm actually making $3,400 per property versus $1,200 per property. That's per month. Now, if I just take that and I go, I'm going to take that and compound it by 30 years. Let's just say I keep these properties for 30 entire years to pay down that mortgage. I keep the cash property, 1 property, 30 years, and I keep the other one. Well, my 4 properties that I bought with the exact same cash out of my pocket make me $1.25 million, roughly. Okay? The 1 property in 30 years makes me $430,000, roughly. So, big gap there. But here's another thing that's magical. I just made payments on my mortgage for 30 years. Those payments I pay down, and in 30 years, that's gone. And I just created $300,000 of equity. How did I figure that out? It was a $75,000 mortgage that I have on the 4 properties. Wipe that out. 75,000 times 4 is $300,000. Wipe that out. So now I just made an extra $300,000 that I didn't make with cash. So now instead, I made one. Now, let's talk about appreciation here. If I hold these properties for 30 years and I appreciate, let's say at 3% per year, in that amount of time, in 30 years, the 1 property is going to appreciate about $150,000. Okay? Well, that's really good, right? I've got now a property worth about $250,000. But if I've got 4 of those and each compound and each grow to $250,000, now I've got 4 properties, right, that increased $150,000 a piece, so $600,000 extra. So now if I'm doing the math right, I've made roughly $1.5 million more in 30 years by leveraging my property. So there's the power of leverage. Why not pay cash? Well, there you go. I can buy 4 properties. I can make $1.5 million more in 30 years through the power of leverage. I'd say that's worth it. A little bit of work, a little bit of actual work, because now we got 4 properties, but a lot more reward. And there's also the power in increasing your rents, right? And all that kind of stuff. So you've just compounded everything. So if you're thinking, mortgage or no mortgage, well, what did I just show you? We can refinance and be careful, be cautious, but we can refinance, pull some money out, non-taxable. It makes no sense, in my opinion, my humble opinion, makes no sense to buy properties cash when you can finance them with 20, 25, even 30 or 35, even 50% down payment. It just makes no sense. Make sure you cash flow, of course. That's important to make sure you do make through a recession, but leverage is powerful. That's one of the most beautiful things about real estate, is that we can leverage properly, and if it's done right, we can really increase our net worth and our cash flow very quickly.